What's up, guys? All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Okay, so today is a little different. I'm not on my big old studio today. What happened? Hey, guys. You know what's so funny? There's a few people on Zoom. What's up on Zoom? Everybody's watching from YouTube today. This is how all of them were supposed to be, just so you guys know, because it's easier just to broadcast. But today, but we upgraded at the last minute, and it's fun all of us being on Zoom. But today we couldn't because our studio was double booked. I'm in my office and right like that way. Maybe I'll show you later. I'll bring the camera in. They're doing a workshop. A couple times a year, Tony and I will do an intensive workshop, and they usually sell out and then we close them out. We don't have any right now, but we might be opening a few in the future where you have the chance to imagine what we do each hour, but each day here, but we do a 3-day immersive event, like 8 hours a day, dive deep on finding your dot, transforming. They usually fill up really fast. And when we open up, we'll let you guys know who'd be interested in knowing more about that workshop when we do it, right? So, but we don't need that right now. And I'm going to encourage you, and I said this before, stick with this program. Stick going through DPS. Stick going through these 11 weeks we're going to be together, right? Take the uncomfortable action. Don't go, I know how the brain works. You get to a point that might be a little sticky, like I'm not sure about my dot, or who's going to do it, or oh my God, the marketing. And then our brain goes, what else can we buy? What else can we learn? I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath. You have the greatest course ever created when it comes to being in the knowledge and self-education industry. I promise you, it's the greatest course ever created. We're going to be together for another like 9 weeks, every single week. We're going to be together at our 3-day live event. So stick with this plan, right? Go through the process. You have to take uncomfortable action. If you're feeling a little uneasy, congratulations. You know, our next level always lives on the other side of that thing that we fear the most, doesn't it? Right? It's like we, hold on one second. I want to be able to see as many faces as I can. It always lives on the other side of that. So today I have a special guest going to be with us today. Do you guys know who it is? Do you guys know who's going to be here? Did we share that in an email? Okay, great. I'll leave it as a little suspense, but you're going to love her. She's amazing. As soon as you see her, you're going to know her. You could take a guess if you want. But here's what I thought. Last week, I hope all of you got to see the training last week. And we started with saying, let's fine tune your dot. Now, I got to go through this for 10 minutes before we start every time, is please know that you need to go at your own pace, right? Some of you are through the course. I have to tell you, we already have people who've been through the course up on Mastermind and sold product already. That is unfreaking believable. And some of you are in the middle. You just got done with the course, getting ready to go up, or you're halfway through the course. And some of you are on module 2, a little scared and nervous because you've never done anything like this before in your life. Congratulations to all of you. This is not being perfect. This is about taking imperfect action. It's about a culture of progress where we're moving forward. We're just a better version of who we were yesterday. Some of you, listen, been in this for a long time. Some of you, it's going to take 6 months. Congratulations. 6 months is going to go by no matter what. And here's the thing. If you bail, what are you going to be doing in 6 months? Back online looking for something else? If not this, then what? I say this all the time. But if not now, then when? And if not you, who? And if not us to help teach you, who are you going to get? I mean, this is the perfect place, the perfect time. If you're a little uncertain, cool. That means you've been too comfortable in the things you've been doing. And remember, we are never judged or never create success in our lives by doing the things that are easy. Is that true? Right? True or true? Like, has anything amazing consistently stayed good that was easy? If you have a great relationship in your life, you work on it. If you're an amazing parent, you work on it. If you're a good friend, you work on it. If you're good at what you do currently, then if it's different than this, if you're great at it, if people admire it, it's because you worked on it. None of it comes by accident, neither will this. So last week we went in the dot. We had Rhonda. Do you guys remember Rhonda? Wasn't that a great interview? It was such a perfect hot seat. And we kind of went deeper because I shared that sometimes we think I need the tactical. Give me the tactical on how to find my dot. And I don't, and we give the tactical and you're like, I still haven't found my dot. And we kind of got to go upstream and find the belief behind why you're not good enough, or people won't listen to you, or they don't believe in you. Wasn't that so transparent and evident with Rhonda, right? You probably know your dot, but something upstream's messing with you. So that's why today I want to tell you, if you're one of our students that's crushing it already, you're going to love today. But if you're completely stuck, not sure what your dot is, you have too many dots, I think you're going to get a really great perspective today from someone who was in your shoes and now she's doing amazing. I was going to tell you, but I'm going to just tease a little more because I want to build a little more suspense. All right, 2 quick things though before I bring her on. And what's cool about it is you'll get, again, not only a different perspective, but a different angle, how to approach it, how she approached it, how she didn't get overwhelmed when she was transitioning and then transitioned to her first dot. And then she shifted into another dot and then shifted into another one, and a mom and a wife and a leader and a friend. And how does that all come together? And how did she get the momentum? That's what she's going to share. So I think it's going to be an amazing perspective. Before we get to that though, I want to ask you 2 things or share 2 things. One, you guys probably know this because I wrote a book called The Underdog Advantage, but I love thinking through the lens of being an underdog, right? I want you to think about that. What underdogs usually don't have the capabilities. People don't believe in them. They're told no. Underdogs are called dreamers. They need to get real. It's not your time, not your place. Like, if you are an underdog, congratulations. It's a superpower. If you're not an underdog, I want you to pretend you are, or borrow what underdogs do to make things work. You know, even this challenge, I'll be transparent with you. Tony and I have been doing this for a really long time. Probably the 2 biggest in this industry, right? And Tony's been doing it way longer than me. Us coming together was a really powerful thing. But I approached this challenge like I was 10 points down. When we did the Own Your Future Challenge, I didn't rely on, oh, it's Tony Robbins and we got Tony and his friends and it's me and I've been doing this forever. I pretended I was 10 points down. I pretended in my mind that this, like, I need to impact. I want you to know our goal was to impact 1 million people. And everyone thought we were absolutely insane, right? We had about 937,000 people register. But my goal was 1 million, and I didn't sleep. I obsessed. I hope you guys saw the energy and effort I put in. I didn't sleep for a month. I mean, legit, in the pre-event trainings, then the trainings, then the after trainings, then the trainings, and I'm still here with you guys. And I obsessed for 6 months building the course. Like, I played like I'd never done this before. And I have to tell you, it's so empowering because yes, I have leverage behind me now, guys. I have the wind behind my back. That is an absolute fact. There is no taking that away. But I also know what it was like living in upstate New York when I decided to enter this industry, and I had a sit-down intervention with my sister on how crazy I was. My friends told me I was an idiot. My inner self-doubt was way strong, saying you're a fool, you're not that smart, you have dyslexia. But I played like that underdog. Like, I couldn't wait to show everybody. Like, instead of that inner voice and people telling you no, and that stops you, let that be fuel. Let no, or you're a dreamer, or not the right time, or you question yourself. Let that be the juice that lights you up. Let it be the wind behind your sail, not the anchor that holds you down, right? You know what I love about being an underdog or being questioned or see if it works is no one ever sees you coming. That's what I love more than anything. No one sees you coming. They don't expect it from you. How cool is that? Like, Coach Chad, you were doing this and now you're doing that. Oh my God. Or Natasha or Natalia or Brant or Jane. It's like when they don't see you coming and all of a sudden someone says, oh my God, you see, they're selling course after course on Mastermind on how to do X, Y, Z. Who even knew? I freaking love that. I think about that stuff in my sleep. My grandmother told me the greatest lesson ever. She said, never tell people what you're going to do. Just show them. Just show them, right? Frank Sinatra, I grew up listening to Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. I'm Italian. I'm named after Dean Martin. So you know how Italian my family is, right? And I remember my grandmother saying, one of my favorite lines from Frank Sinatra said, is the greatest revenge is success. Not that you want to have revenge against people who doubt you, but you don't have to say a word. When they go online and see, oh my God, that means that you didn't dim your glow to match people around you. If you're here, you were called to serve. You know there's another level. And listen, put it in the chat right now. Who knows you have another level? If it's like you're a 5-speed car, remember the manual cars, and you've been in 3rd or 4th gear for too long. But to get to that next gear, it takes a little work. That's what we're doing. You had to get a course. You had to feel uncomfortable. You had to doubt yourself. You had to crush that inner self-doubt. You had to show up here. You have to take these lessons, and maybe you're ahead of what we're sharing today. You're still going to learn something. Maybe you're a little behind. It's going to empower you to move forward. Like, what glasses, this is the last thing I want to say, 2 quick things before we bring on our guest. What glasses you put on when you come here, I promise will determine your success. If you show up like, all right, what do you got today, Dean? Let's see if this thing's going to work. Deliver this to me. Give it to me today, and we'll see. If that's how you show up, you're already screwed. Just being honest. You got to put a pair of glasses on and say, I have the capabilities. You have a course that you can go at your own pace. Now I get to lock arms with other like-minded people like me. I get to be moved forward, compelled to action by those that have already been there. Maybe I'll learn one thing today, but when I learn that thing, I'm going to take the uncomfortable action to put it into play. I'm going to also encourage you not to get comfortable with satiating your desire with learning. Can we all understand that sometimes we satiate the desire to move forward by learning the thing, not implementing the thing? Does that make sense? Like, oh my God, I got through module 3. I heard Dean. I heard his guest. Damn, I feel good. I know what my dot is. I know who wants it. Yay. And then you go back to life. No, it's got to be, I got through module 3. I listened to Dean. I listened to special guests. I'm fired up. Let me go put it in play. Let me go create the headline and the thumbnail in mastermind.com. Let me create module 2 or module 3, or let me lay out my live coaching session I'm going to do, or the one coaching session I'm going to do. Like, we must take the excitement of the learning and transition that into the implementation and the action. And in most cases, it's a little uncomfortable because it's new. And your brain's going to tell you, this isn't for you. They missed something. They didn't go in detail. Maybe it was too much detail. This is for somebody smarter, for somebody behind me. Your brain will try everything possible. But then what? If not this, I said it earlier, if not this, then what? 6 months from now, you'd be online searching, I know there's more for me. I know there's another gear. What should I do? Right? And we don't want that to happen. You're here. We're together. Let's go all in. Right? Tony always says, burn the boats. Like, you want to take the island, burn the boats. Because if you got one foot out the door, how does it, we said this last week. You never had a relationship in your life work if somebody had one foot out the door. You didn't. You're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You go, I'm out. Right? If you have those glasses on, like waiting for the other shoe to drop, you're already out. So this is the time you have to recommit and say, I'll do what it takes to move forward. And then the last thing, not only like play like you're desperate, play like you're 10 points down. I said, this is the thing I taught my kids, and I shared this through the challenge, but I want to hit it again, is who are we when no one is watching is really what determines our success or failure, right? If you show up here and you have a beautiful smile and you're nodding, I'm like, I'm in. But then as soon as this is done, you close your laptop and put on Netflix and don't go through the course and get into your self-doubt mode and start questioning yourself. And you talk to your friend who always tells you you're crazy for being a dreamer. If you do those things, just showing up here isn't enough. You have to do the work when no one's watching, right? So I share this a lot about my kids, but I got to tell you just an in-person, real life thing. Is my daughter has been pitching in softball since she was about 7. But you get 14, she broke her ankle, or she got water on her knee. Her knee got like this big, so she couldn't play softball for a while. And then as soon as her knee got drained, they drained it twice. She got it back down, physical therapy. She broke her darn ankle on the trampoline. How great is that? I get trampoline put in for my kids for fun. Both of my kids broke their ankles on our trampoline. I feel like dad of the year. Pretty amazing. Yeah. And the worst part about it, Sean, I see you put your hands up. You ready for this one? Do you know how my son broke his ankle? Who's been on a trampoline before? Raise your hand or put it in the chat for YouTube. Do you ever have somebody spring you and you shoot way up? Yeah, my son asked me to spring him and I jumped too quick, and I jumped and he was coming down as it was going up. So pretty much I broke my son's ankle. Parenting moment of the year. And it was only 3 months after my daughter broke her ankle. She just got her cast off. And it was the same trampoline, same spot, went to the same emergency room. I'm like, horrible human. So anyway, that was my long story short. So my daughter took a year and a half off of softball. And at 14, 15, my daughter's my height, and the girls on her team are bigger than me, right? They're like amazing athletes. At that age, you don't pitch for a year and a half, you really fall behind. She went from a really good pitcher to So now this year she's struggling to get back, and she's practicing and she's going back and forth, maybe not pitch. It's a lot of responsibility. Got to practice 5 days a week. And her coach told her 5 days a week for 3 years. She go to any college she wants. That's a big commitment for a 14-year-old, 5 days a week, for 3 years. Anyway, why am I saying this? So my daughter and my son and now my little guy will know too. I always taught them this: who are you when no one watches? No one watching determines everything. You don't win baseball games, softball games on the field. You win when no one's watching, when you're out back throwing 100 balls or hitting the ball over and over, right? No one's going to see you. No one's going to praise you. No one's going to pat you on the back. You're going to feel like quitting, and you can. And join the ranks of everybody else who wishes they could win the game and is pissed off at the people who do, but don't realize they put the work in when no one's watching to get there. People, not on this group, but so many of the world envies those that are successful. They said they had a shortcut, something happened, someone gave it to them. No, 99.9% of the time they did the shit when no one was watching, that no one knows they did, and that's how they got there. It's like the overnight success. You see somebody's on a TV show and like, oh my God, they got that dream role, overnight success. You don't realize they've been in summer stock and training and doing terrible gigs for 15 years to get that overnight success. Why am I telling you this? My daughter's got a softball tournament this coming weekend in about 2 hours from here. And the main pitcher left for the summer. The other pitcher broke her ankle. My daughter is playing the starting and has to pitch all the games of this. This morning at 5:30, she knows I get up at 5. She texts me at 5:30 this morning. She goes, Dad, I'm up. Let's go practice before it gets hot. So 5:30 to 6:30 this morning, my daughter pitched to me. Yesterday at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. The night before, 5 to 7. My daughter's putting in the time obsessively right now to step up for that game when everybody will be watching. So I just want to ask you guys, what are you doing when no one's watching, right? When the camera's off, when the course is off, are you doing the things that you need to be doing that move you forward, that help build your confidence? You're not feeling it? Go back to module 1, watch Tony, right? Do the things that get you to go, this is my time, this is the right time, I'm doing this, whatever it takes, okay? Can we all agree that we need that, right? We need that to keep moving forward, because if you quit, you're quitting on you, and we don't want that. And that's why I'm here with you. And that's why we're bringing a special guest on right now. So here's the cool part. Let's see. I got my gallery. All right. I can see better now. I didn't mean to make it a huge suspense, but I'm really excited. This girl went from working in a cubicle. You might know her story. Working in a cubicle where everybody thought that was success for her. And she knew it wasn't. She knew there was more. And she quit, and she got a camera off of Craigslist and started filming wedding photography, starting, I think, with her sister's wedding, and got really good at it, and decided not only did she want to do wedding photography, she wanted to teach other women how to do it. She entered the knowledge industry, scared to death, in her 20s, never did this before. She thought she was crazy. Family thought she was crazy. And now it's pretty amazing to see her have the #1 marketing podcast in the world. Sorry, guys, kicking the butt of all the dudes out there trying to do it. She got the #1 marketing podcast. She has a 7-figure knowledge business. She's an amazing mom. She's having another baby. She's an incredible wife and a dear friend, and someone that we truly consider family. So I would love if we could all please give it up for Miss Jenna Kutcher.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Oh, I am so excited to be with you today. And Dean, I'm so happy you weren't in your fancy studio, because I'm coming at you from our little cabin. And so I was like so stoked that the production value matches my desire. And I want you all to know that I put makeup on for the first time in weeks for you, just because I wanted to feel a little fancy. So I am so excited to be with you today. I was watching Dean's training last week, and just thinking about you on this journey, I remember, that first investment I ever made to learn. I remember that fear. And I remember, just as Dean was talking about, you have that momentum and that excitement. And then with each passing week, with each hurdle, with each question, with each doubt, you can start to lose momentum, and you can start to wonder, did I just make the biggest mistake? Or is this the best thing that's ever happened to me? And I actually have a different take on some of this, because I was thinking about some of my first struggles, because let me tell you, I had a freaking lot of them. And I was trying to think about like all of the things that I needed to overcome in order to move forward. And what I love about when Dean and I show up together, whether it's virtually or in person, is that we have such different takes on what this journey looks like and how it felt. And I lean a lot on how things feel, because I think that a lot of times our feelings kind of guide us either into like moving forward or like pumping the brakes. And so Dean kind of hinted at it. But when I first left my corporate job, I became a wedding photographer. And I had built a six-figure business within 3 years. I'd never taken an art class, but I was obsessed with photography. Like, it didn't matter if my degree didn't say photographer on it. Like, I was the person who was consuming every bit of information to learn everything I could. I wanted to be the best. I was studying it. And I never in a million years imagined moving into education. I thought like photography was it. That was the one thing I wanted to do. It was such a blessing. But looking back now, almost a decade later, my camera was merely just my vehicle into this next phase of life. My camera was really just this tool that I needed to get the confidence to leap out of my corporate job and to start something fresh. Now, what led me into education is something that might have guided you to this point where you are today. And it's really actually just super simple. So I lived in a village in Wisconsin. There was 1,200 people. Today, where I'm seated, I'm in a town of 1,300 people. So if you don't believe me that it's possible, no matter where you are in the world, I am proof that literally I have run my business out of town smaller than 10,000 people this entire decade that I've been in business. And I met up at this little beachside taco place with one of my friends who's also a photographer. And I remember we sat down, and to me, she was like magnificent. Like, when you think of like an artist, like she was an artist. And I just felt like an impersonator. Have you ever felt like you're just like this imposter? And so we sit down, we order a few margaritas. They were not very good, got a few tacos, and we start talking about business. And she goes, oh, I have this confession to make. I'm like, what's your confession? She's like, I'm in the process of updating my resume. And I was like, for what? She's like, I can't make it anymore as a photographer. Like, I can't pay the bills. I need to like go back into like the workforce. Like, I wish I could just be a photographer, but I don't get it. And I remember sitting there that day and being like, I am so confused. This woman is a brilliant artist. What did I do differently to build a six-figure business that was wildly profitable, but also that like I had clients knocking down the door and I was not as good as she was. And I remember that conversation because it was so simple, but it was the first like revealing in my life of like, you're doing things differently. You've done something even just slightly different that has yielded a different result. And I remember driving home that day, just thinking, how can I help my friend? How can I help her so that she can do this thing that she loves and make a living doing it? And I started to think about like, what did I do differently? What was my process? What was maybe she not doing that I was? Like, how can we get her to this place where I had found myself? And chances are that in your life, no matter what you do, what you're an expert in, or what you feel like an imposter in, you know something that can help somebody. And for me, when I think about where you're at, even just this week in the process, if I would have thought I need to go out and help 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000 people or 1,000,000 people, I would have thought, hell no. Excuse me. I hope there aren't little ears around, but for real, I would have been like, no way. But I could help this one friend, right? And so when I tell you that I never intended into getting into the education space, I am not blowing anyone smoke. Like, I'm not. And so I started to think about, okay, how can I help this one person? And I think what happens is when you start to see people like the incredible lineup of guests that were in the Own Your Future Challenge, and they're dropping these numbers that like are so astronomical. You're wondering, how many zeros are they talking about? Like, what is this? You start to think about like, I can't impact 1,000 people. I can't impact 10 people. Like, what if we started with one? So one of the things that I've learned in working with my students as they learn this process is that we need to start building up our confidence. Just like you start building up your muscles when you go to the gym, we need to first prove to ourselves that we know something that can help other people. But second, we need to almost give ourselves these little boosts of confidence that change our beliefs so that we can start approaching things and start figuring out how we're going to make a difference, even if it's just one person. And so when I think about the incredibleness and the nature of what is inside of DPS and how you're learning all of these things, this idea feels crippling to me at times because I really struggle in thinking about the masses. Even to this day, I can't. When I record a podcast, when I go on IG Live, when I talk to people, I have to constantly think of one person. So here's what I want to share with you today. If you are thinking about where do I go from here? If you're struggling to find your dot, or you're thinking, I made the biggest mistake of my life, because I've had those thoughts too, or you're wondering, where do I even begin? I want to kind of remove some of the barriers that might be in your way, that might be causing you to procrastinate because you're waiting for perfection. And I want to insert in just this new idea for you to kind of explore, gain your footing, and grow your confidence. So when I started working with my friend, literally just talking to her, like it wasn't like a formal, like, let me sit down and give you steps A through Z. It was like, okay, are you doing this? Let me look at your website. Does it have this? Okay, have you, what does your follow-up email look like? Do you have this? Have you asked for referrals? Have you done this? I started just like piecemealing what I thought was maybe wrong. And so my question for you is this: if you have never stepped out or stepped into this role as an educator or an expert or an authority, could you think of somebody, just one person in your life, in your world, that you know you could help? Okay, just think about that. If the answer is no, that doesn't mean that there's no one out there, but it really helps if you start to think about, okay, who's one person I could help? Now, when I talk about growing your confidence slowly over time, what I ended up doing was first working with this friend informally. I just want to help her. Then I thought, wait, I wonder if other photographers are struggling like this too. So I did a little post on my Facebook and just said, hey, I'm going to do a few half-day mentoring things. It was like super cheap, like $50. I don't even know. You could do it for free. I would recommend doing it for free. And just say, if anyone wants to hop on a 30-minute call, I'm not pitching anything. I have nothing to sell. I just want to teach you or share about how you can X, Y, or Z. Now, here's the key to this. If even one person responds, that's the point of your dot. Okay? That's where you start to see there is somebody. And if there is one person, there is more people out there that need this. And for me, seeing that there was even one person interested was like this like light bulb being like, there's more. So I would do these half-day sessions in our tiny little village, in mine and Drew's first little tiny apartment. Didn't even have an office. We sat at a little Target table with like the wobbly legs, and I would walk them through my process. And what happened is first off, there was tons of interest. Like people were like, I want to learn how you did this. I've been watching you. I see your passion. I see you're growing. I like celebrate with you. How do you do this? But I started to notice that there was trends. I started to notice that people had the same questions, that people were getting stuck in the same places, that people were wondering the same things, that people needed the same tools. And it actually started to become like I was this broken record. Like it kind of got boring because I was like, I literally just told Lindsay this the other day, and now I'm telling Abby this today. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm saying the same things over again. But again, this brought upon confidence because I started to notice these trends. So what would it look like first if you literally just reached out to someone in your world and said, hey, are you curious in learning how I did X, Y, or Z? I have nothing to sell. I just want to help you and see if I can get you the same result I got myself. Or posting it, if you're feeling bold and you're like really getting out there, just posting it on your Facebook or your Instagram or wherever you show up online and just saying, hey, does anyone want to learn this? I'm doing a free just talk. I just want to prove to myself that I've done something really cool. Then move into group coaching. What would it look like if you just had a Facebook group with 3 people and you got on live and you showed them how to do something? What's amazing is I think that a lot of times we skip some of these steps because we just want to go and get our course up and we want to get selling it, but we still don't have the confidence in the steps that it's going to take to actually get someone results. And that holds us back, right? That tells us like, who am I to do this? But once you get one person results, and then you get another person results, your confidence is growing. And not only is your confidence growing, but you're figuring out exactly how you help people. You're answering the questions before people can ask them. So what I did is I helped my one friend for free. Then I did a few little half-day sessions where I just shared whatever people wanted to know. I started to notice the trends. And then I said, okay, I think I can do like a group coaching. Created a Facebook group. I charged a very low rate for it. And I said, over the next 5 weeks, I'm just going to teach you these 5 things. Whoa, I got tons of results. It filled up so fast. Wow. Okay. This is working. Now, when I'm live, I'm learning what are people asking about? Where are people getting confused? Where am I not explaining this well enough? Then I created my first course. So why I think this is important is if you are somebody that is procrastinating because you are waiting for perfection, or because you don't have the confidence to start moving forward because you're so focused on the masses that you can't even imagine like your methods impacting one person, then I want to give you this tool so that you can kind of start at your own pace so that progress is progress. And what I found is that the more your confidence grows, the more likely you are to show up, but also the more likely you are to get other people results. Now, Dean's method absolutely works for a lot of people. Those people are not like me. Those are the people that are like, let's go. I'm gung-ho. I'm all in. I see it. I know it. I do it. And I'm over here like, but wait, what happens if this? Or what is my college friend going to think when I talk about this? Or what if somebody says, well, let me see your degree and it says business, it doesn't say photography. And then somebody says, well, wait, like I want to see your bank account. Or, it's like, I think about like every scenario. I was just teasing my mom the other day because I grew up with an emergency room nurse and a volunteer firefighter EMT father. And I was laughing at Dean's story when he was sharing about the kid, not laughing, but like my parents would be like, oh, broken leg. We saw somebody's leg get severed the other day. You're fine. That was like how my parents were. So I grew up like doomsday, like the worst could happen, but we're going to be okay. And so when I think about all of the worst case scenarios, like I do, I need to get myself results to prove to myself that I can do it, that I can follow through, that this time I'm actually going to do it. Because I don't know about you, but I put myself on these shame cycles constantly. When I make these promises to myself and then 2 days in, I'm like, nope, not waking up at 6 to work out today. Sorry. And then I feel guilty and I feel shame. And so what would it look like if we focused on little wins and if we focused on impacting one first and started getting our footing and growing our confidence? So if you go Dean's method, you probably already have taken action. You probably are already getting results. You probably are already like, I'm doing it. Like I am the expert. I've got this. But maybe if you're more like me, maybe it's time that you really start thinking about that one person. Now, here's what I will tell you that has helped me immensely when it comes to not just finding your dot, but figuring out how are you going to help not just one dot, but multiple dots within your dot, right? Because if you do something, chances are like it's hard to make it one size fits all, right? Like everyone has unique situations, everyone has unique lifestyles, everyone has specific questions. So here's what's really helped me. For me, first, I always start with the end result. So when you are going to text a friend and ask them if you can help them or post on social media and offer your expertise, I want for you to think about what is the end result that someone can get from following what you're going to share, okay? Because a lot of times we focus so much on the features or the way that we're going to teach that we don't actually share, here's exactly what you can expect if you do what I say, if you follow what I teach. So I always start with the end result. So my first course was called the Photo Lab. And it was a 5-week course to learn how to create sustainable systems in your photography business and to market your business for free. Now, I've gotten a little less wordy over the years, but you want to make sure that you know exactly what that end result is and start there, because people don't care about the features. They don't necessarily care about where you're hosting your site or how many modules are in it or how many weeks you're showing up. They want to know, what am I going to get for this? So once you start with your end result, then you want to reverse engineer it. So just as I was driving home from my taco date with my friend, I started asking myself, well, what did I do differently? What are the things that I did that she doesn't do, or she doesn't know, or she's never tried? And so when you start with that end result, it helps it make it so easy for you to think of the 3 to 5 things that someone needs to do to get that end result. It doesn't have to be 1,001 tips and strategies to learn how to build your photography business. It was 5 ways to do this. And if I can give you one piece of advice, in the world right now, we need simpler, we need faster. We do not want 800 modules to work through. I would way rather take a course that was 3 modules than 50, because I know I can actually follow through. So while our tendencies tend to tell us, like, throw in everything in the kitchen sink, I want to tell you, keep it to 3 to 5 steps to get to your end result. And when you do that, it makes it so easy for someone to understand and for someone to really implement. So let's say, for example, so I'm pregnant right now. You guys should see it. My bump is getting a little bigger than when we were at the challenge. And I actually just saw there was this educator on Instagram. I was like, I want to buy her program. And it was like a prenatal diet library, like not like diet, like to lose weight, but like how to eat while you're pregnant. I was like, this is fascinating. And so I clicked to her sales page because I was like, I'm the kind of person that I will invest in like any education now, because I realize how much knowledge compounds and like how you can learn something once and it can like change your life forever. And so her promise was like this simplified look at nutrition for pregnancy. I was like, oh, that's like super straightforward. I get it. And what's so interesting is that she like created this entire course on this one topic. And while I can get a ton of information for free on her Instagram, I don't have the time to click through every post to find what I'm looking for. Like, I will invest in the speed, right? So many people want to invest in learning things faster. And so they're willing to exchange their money, which is a resource that you can go out and earn more of, in order to get back their time. So think about, whenever you're teaching or impacting someone, how can you help them get to a finished result in the fastest, most efficient way? Because here's the thing, Dean and Tony are experts at this. Like, I've never seen anyone be better at this when it comes to like course curriculum. And you can still see how easy it is to hold yourself back, to get confused, to delay moving forward. And they're literally the best at it. So how can we undercomplicate, simplify whatever it is that we're doing so that we can get one person a result faster, grow that confidence, get 2 people a result faster, grow our confidence, do a small group coaching, grow our confidence, start to see the trends, grow our confidence, start to build out the curriculum, grow our confidence. All of a sudden we're showing up and we're launching. Now, let me tell you about my first launch, because it was really funny. Look at my mastermind cup. Dean always gives the best stuff out. I feel like I think about him every day. And I think that's like his gimmick, is that like he sends you really great stuff and then you just think about him all the time, which is so weird. I do not do swag. As in, I do not create swag. So my first launch ever, I now teach about the importance of email marketing, because I didn't have an email list when I first launched. I had maybe 200 people on it. But you know what I did is I said, I am going to open up this brand new course for 25 people. Cause I was like, okay, I'm going to like be all in on these 25 people. And this is after I did the one-on-one, the little group coaching. I did all this. I got on the phone with every single person who was going to purchase that course to make sure that it would help them, because I wanted to make sure that anyone that was investing their precious money, that I had the confidence that I could save them that time. Now, I would not have had that confidence had I not done all of these steps before. I literally was in the trenches in that launch, saying, let me get on the phone. Let's do a consult. Tell me where you're at. Tell me how I can help you. Tell me what your business is. Tell me where you want it to go. And if I didn't think I could help them, I told them that. I didn't want to sell it to anyone. I wanted to sell it to the right people. And I still am in touch with so many of those people who were the first 25 years ago. Now, let me also tell you, Dean mentioned this last week and I kind of laughed at it. I am the laziest course creator on planet Earth. The fact that you get to see my face today is a massive gift because I am someone who loves to hide behind a microphone and I hate being on video. Like, I hate it. I don't like getting dressed. I don't like looking nice. I don't know. I mean, I like it. I just don't prioritize it. And so I created my first course. It was audio only. So I want for you to imagine, I literally sat in my bed and spoke into a microphone. And I'll send Dean a clip and somehow he'll get it to you at some point, but it is so embarrassing. And it's like, hello, this is Jenna Kutcher, and I am going to teach you about branding. And we've all seen Russell Brunson's first go. I mean, we've seen everyone's first go at it. But what I want to reiterate for you is that if you are holding yourself back from simply starting, your starting place is not your ending place. In fact, your starting place is your launch pad into the future. I retired that program. You could not find it, thank God, because it was a brilliant program with the worst production quality ever, but it got people results. Not a single person refunded an audio only course that was $2,500. I forgot to mention the price point. It was a lot of money. And what's amazing is that it's not about production value. It's not about studio. It's not about makeup teams or what you're wearing. People want that end result. So when we start there, we build off of that. And if you can get people that, they don't care if it's just your voice, your face, if it's just slides, whatever it looks like. It's not about any of that. So I want to know, if you are holding yourself back, raise your hand for those who are in Zoom, because I'm watching you right now. Is it because you are terrified for sticking to a single topic? Like you don't want to box yourself in, or you're worried about like, you're going to be forever known as a potato gun guy. Because that's pretty brilliant. I mean, Russell's really ran with that, let's be honest. But does it scare you to choose something and go for it? Like, is that an actual fear that's holding you back? Raise your hand if that's you. Okay, I see a lot of people raising their hands. What I want to tell you is that every single person that you learned from throughout the challenge, and so many of Dean and Tony's prior students, started with one thing and they're doing something totally different today. We are multi-passionate, multi-hyphenate, multi-creative people. The course that I first taught doesn't exist anymore, not because it didn't get people results, but because my passions changed, my knowledge changed, I grew, I learned. My business looks so different than it did. But if I would have never got in the ring in the first place, I wouldn't have even known that this world existed. I would have never built this business or the podcast or anything that you see today. And so I want for you to know that if you can pick something that you can literally just start today, that you could hang up this call and get on the phone with somebody and say, hey, I am really good at teaching moms how to get their babies to sleep through the night. And I know you have a newborn. Let me know if you need any tips. I know the world is out there. I know Google exists, but I figured this out and I really want to help you. I literally was doing this with my neighbor the other day. I was like, I'm not an expert, but I took all the courses. So let me know if you need help. Okay. And so think about what is something that you could help somebody get a result in. It doesn't have to be your wildest passion. It doesn't have to be your biggest God dream on your heart. It just has to be something, because your confidence is going to grow, and confidence is absolutely key in continuing on this journey. You are not your starting line. Like, you're not going to stay there. But if you can start, and I told my past students this before, I said, pick the lowest hanging fruit. Pick whatever is most like applicable, like which you can take action on today, that you can't procrastinate because you're making your laundry list 8 tasks too long and you're never going to progress because you're looking at procrastination as this tool of just delaying your joy, delaying your own results. I said, pick something and just get started, because in the process of teaching, no matter what topic you're teaching on, you're going to become a better teacher. You're going to learn more. You're going to answer people's questions. You're going to anticipate their needs. And that can absolutely transform. So I just don't want you to get fearful that like the topic that you choose or the course that you choose is the end, because it's only the beginning. I now have 5 different courses that I teach on a variety of topics, none of which are photography any longer. And so it's just permission to learn and grow and evolve. And that's what you want for your students too, right? You want to just open that door and give them permission to do that. And so why are you not doing that for yourself today? So I hope this was super helpful. I think Dean's going to jump back on. He can ask any questions. But I really, really want you guys to just start thinking about the power of one and the way that you can start influencing one person. Because when you can create with a person, a human being in mind, you start to make this whole experience open up for yourself to grow your confidence. But you also start creating things that will impact the masses when you focus on that one and begin there. And that's exactly what I've done and so many others. And I just want the same for you.
Jenna, can we give it up for Jenna? Don't go anywhere yet, but let's give it up for Jenna in the chat. I see the YouTube chat and we got a few people on Zoom. We'll be back to normal Zoom next week, but this was cool because we matched today. How you doing, Jenna? Thank you so much.
I'm good. Thanks for this mug. It's really great.
I know. I'm jealous you're up at your cabin. I love when you guys are up there. You're in a different space when you're up there. I can feel your energy.
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, I think this was so helpful, Jenna, to approach it that way, because when we've looked through the lens of the reason I'm saying I took so many notes, right? Like building your confidence by finding the trends, right? I think back of even when I did my courses, and like even the course we have now, all of it evolves as you're sharing it, as you learn. And I've told this way too many times, but I put a note of the comedian. Like if you see a comedian at Madison Square Garden in New York City with 50,000 people and everybody's laughing their butts off to every single joke, right? You go, wow, what a talented human. But in most cases, if you're rewound, right, you would see them telling jokes to friends, and the friends like, that's dumb. And they figure out what jokes was the best. And then they're at a little dive comedy bar and they tell 10 or 15 jokes and 3 land flat, 3 are an okay laugh and 3 are an amazing laugh. So they keep the really like high level laugh ones and they go back and modify the other ones. And then they go to a bigger comedy store and they like, it's a process. And by the time they went to Madison Square Garden, they had practiced all these different ones, and that's how they got to 50,000 people. But some of those jokes first started by telling their friends or telling somebody in a little dive bar with 7 people in it. And here's what I know is no matter what decisions you make in life from this point forward, you still got to do the work, or you have to be complacent and be stuck in a path that maybe you're not 100% happy with. So no matter where you want to go, if you want to grow, if you want to evolve, if you feel called to serve, if you know that you have more to give the world, another gear, we all agree we got to put in the work. But how cool is it we get to put in the work by the worst thing is you get to help one person. And then, oh, that's really horrible that I just got to help 3 people, and then 6, and then 9, and then 20, right? So I think we have to go back to Kaizen of, how do you run a 1,000-mile race? One step at a time. And again, I know probably more than half of you are past this. You know your dot, you're getting it done. But today was really good, Jenna. I think it was amazing to make sure the people that are feeling a little like I'm missing out or not going fast enough, you guys have the chance to see someone who is like Jenna, when you said worry about what other people are thinking, that you're very logical, you think about different scenarios, what your friends will say, I know I lost that so many years. I could give 2.
I still think about it all, guys. Come on.
No, that's why it's so great that they get the chance to see through both perspectives. That's why I love our friendship. Even when we talk, I want to share something. Jenna was at my house one day and we're going back and forth. We'd done like 3 podcasts in a row and we were talking about what motivated us. And I remember that conversation, and I still realize that I never want to go backwards. Like I run away from my painful childhood. And it still motivates me to this day, where Jenna doesn't look at it like that completely. She's running towards a bigger future with more time with her daughter, more time with her next child, more time with her husband, more freedom. So she's always running towards a bigger future. I still am kind of moving away from a past. It doesn't mean one's better than the other, but when you recognize it, you get to use it as fuel.
I love it too, because I think it's such a great reminder for all of us as students, because I think that fact alone is super relatable. Some of us joined this program because we were like, I hate my current life. I need to get out of it. And some were like, wait, I can make an impact. I can do this. I have the secret sauce. I'm ready to go. And I think that whichever side of the fence you're on, that, like Dean said, there's no one that's better than the other, but it's going to impact how you implement, how you move forward. And I think that's where too, like, there's this piece of me that's like, the sky's the limit, like, let's go. And then there's this other piece of me that's like, who am I to do this? And I think that what is so fascinating too, and what's beautiful about the online education space, is you can speak to and help both sets of those people, the people running towards something and the people running away from something. And that's what we get to do in terms of making an impact. And I love that about Dean and I, because it totally changes how we write copy, how we show up, how we speak to our audiences, because that's the scope that we're in, but we're still able to impact all of the ripple effects of all the people that are right centered around our dot.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. And I love what you said today. Start with the end in mind.
Yeah.
These little things today, sometimes guys, when we're talking, you might think, okay, get to the stuff that makes sense. Get to the stuff that's going to make the difference. And sometimes as you're thinking that, you blow right past the things that are actually can make the difference.
Yeah.
Right? Because I really mean it. Go back and listen to this again. Listen to Jenna's words, because sometimes you're setting down, okay, I think I know my dot. I kind of went through my riffs. Let me lay it out. Okay, they're going to get this. Oh, I should give them this. I should give them this. I should give them this. I should train them this. When really you got to think, what are the things that at the end will move the needle the most? Like, what is the end result? I'm not in a good relationship. I want a better relationship. I'm not in the best shape. I want to be in better shape. I lost self-love. I want to find it. I lost myself by being a mom, a wife, in business. I want to find myself and love myself again. If you start thinking of the end in mind, don't think, I thought this was brilliant. I took notes on it, Jenna, it's not like, what else can I give them? What else can I give them? What you can give them is the thing that gets them the end result they want, whether that's 15 minutes or 5 hours. Don't think of all you could give them and all the extra time. Think is, what is the fastest way to their end result? I don't eat well. I want to eat better. I don't know how to sell. I want to sell better. I don't know how to sell my business. I want to learn. I was just in the other room. We're doing a high level workshop. And I said, tell me what you're doing. And there was people in there, everything possible, from yoga, meditation. And one person said, I help people exit their business at the highest maximum sale price, right? Like, damn, it's like every level. It's like, there's somebody right now thinking of selling their business and going, damn, how do I get the most out of my business? Oh, let me check mastermind.com. Oh, there we go. There's someone who teaches you how to maximize your exit. There's something for everyone, right? But we have to think of the end result. Somebody who wants to sell their business doesn't need to know all the things. They just need to know the things that could get them to maximize their sales. So I love when you said, start with the end result in mind, and really boiling it down, that if you could help one person, you could help 100, you could help 1,000, you could help 1,000,000. But we have to start with the one.
One thing I often think about, Dean, I want to give two very quick examples, because one is your example and one is my example that totally illustrates us. But when we start with the end result, people value our end results differently, right? So we could tell someone that, we could teach them how to run a marathon in a month. And like, someone might be like, I don't want to run a marathon. That's not for me. And so when you can get really clear on the end result, it helps people know, is this something I need or is it not? And that's where like beautiful attracting and repelling comes in, so that you don't try to sell to everyone and then sell to no one. But one thing I often think about is how a lot of times sales can be assumed. And I think a lot of us are really afraid of selling in general. And an example I have is I went to a spa one time to just get a facial. And before the woman even asked me, like, what are your skin concerns or what are you here for? She just started telling me everything that was wrong with my skin. And for me, like whenever I get pregnant, my skin gets kind of spotty. It's called melasma. Sometimes it looks like you have a mustache. You don't, it's just your skin. And she was telling me all about that. And I said, you know, to you, that might be a problem, but to me, it's proof of a miracle. And I shut it down right away. And I thought, man, if she could have started that conversation with just what do you want for your end result today? Why are you here today? It would have absolutely transformed my experience from me showing up and being like offended to me being like really excited and valuing the end result. And Dean, you used to give an example too of showing up at a car dealership and someone starts telling you about all the features of the car and they don't even ask why you're there or what you need differently. They don't ask about your family. They don't ask about what you don't like about your current car. They just start telling you about the air conditioning and the MP3 and the Wi-Fi capabilities. And maybe you don't care about any of that. And so I just want to remind you to first off, get really comfortable in asking people, what is your desired end result? Just like I got on the phone with every single one of my students to make sure that I could follow through on that, but also to make people feel seen and heard and understood. And I think that when we really focus on that end result, and let people place that value if it's something that they really want or something that they don't quite need, it transforms the entire experience for you as a creator, but also for them as a customer. And I think that that can absolutely just change the whole landscape of everything that we're doing.
What an amazing point. I see all the love coming in. Trevor said we make a good team, Jenna. I think
we do.
We always joke about that. We come from two different worlds, two different generations, everything. When we get together, we have the same goals, same desires. We just approach things a little different. So I would love to give it up. Jenna, thank you so much for taking time today while you're in the cabin. Can we all give it up for Jenna?
Oh, it's so great to be with you all. I'm so excited and inspired by you all. And I just want you to know, like, I see your commitment. I see you taking those leaps of faith. And like you just showing up here is like huge. It just speaks volumes about your dedication. So it's my honor, and I'm sure I'll be back someday soon.
Yeah, so let's tell Jenna, if we want her back, put it in the chat, because I think we're going to get Jenna back in a couple of weeks. There's a topic that we cover in about 3 weeks from now that I'd really love you here, Jenna. So
perfect.
Go enjoy your family.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone. Have an amazing day. Good luck.
Hey, guys. Thank you. Thank you for showing up here today. And whether you're watching the replay or you're here with us live, this is what we're doing. These are just little wins to keep you the momentum, to keep the wind behind your back, to answer those questions, to not allow you to feel you're alone on this journey or feel crazy or feel like I can't do this, because you can. And we're just going to encourage you to stick with it. Stick with it because you know it's what you wanted. You made that decision to be here. And I think the worst thing we can ever do is give up on something when we're almost there, when we almost had the breakthrough, because we've done that too many times in the past. And it's the reason, I mean, quite frankly, it's the reason we decided to do these trainings, because we know we can provide the best course in the world, which I truly believe Digital Product System, the course you're going through, is the greatest course that for this industry that's ever been created. From two guys that have been in it for 60 years. And we worked with Jenna. She came in and consulted through the entire process. So we make sure we had that feminine energy plus looking through the lens of a different one. I think it created magic. So you have the ingredients. Now we just got to keep you on track. So I'll leave today. We timed it pretty good today. We're right on an hour. Is take the lessons that Jenna shared. Watch this again. Watch it for the little things that you think you were waiting for the big thing, but the little things were actually the big thing. Focus on the solution. If you can help one person, how to build the confidence, the little wins. All of these things can help you if you're already doing this, get better, or if you're still waiting to engage, this can help you move forward faster. Next week, we have another surprise guest. She's going to rock your world. I'm so excited. She's going to fly in and be here with us. So I'm going to leave it as a surprise, of course. But next week, we're going to cover not only going your dot, but identifying that exact person, but how to feel comfortable not only identifying, but knowing exactly who that is. Like Jenna said, you want to repel those that you don't want, and you want to serve the potentially thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that need exactly what it is that you are going to be offering. So next week's going to be powerful as well. Do the homework, stay engaged, stay inside the Facebook group, help those that are unsure. If you're unsure, ask for help. Stay connected, stay engaged, and let's carry this thing across the finish line. Appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.